Well, Aljamain, just how happy are you to be getting into 2017, a new year? I know that 2016 probably wasn't the most fun for you. How happy are you to be getting a fresh start here?
It's exciting, you know. 2016 was fun in other words for other things and other events and other adventures, but fighting-wise for my career wasn't as fruitful as the way I hoped. But 2017, man, I'm excited to get this thing started on the right foot. We got another tough opponent in front of me, and I think I'm going to rise to the occasion.
What was your kind of attitude like and your feelings like, your emotions like dealing with last year? Because obviously you came into the year with so much hype, surprising loss, then you lost a fight at the end of the year that you wanted to have. I mean, only got that one appearance. So what was it like for you? I mean, was it something that kind of tested you mentally and kind of tested your character a little bit?
It tested me a little bit, but it's nothing I'm not familiar with. You know, there's been plenty of obstacles in my life that I have had to deal with and overcome to get to where I am today. So just those small bumps in the road, that's all it is to me. It's just another bump in the road. I just got to figure out a way to get around it and figure out a way to get through it. And that's pretty much what I did. And I'm just a few more days away from another big fight.
I mean, do you relive that one in your head and you know, anxious to get that taste out of your mouth, or did you really just put it behind you?
I honestly just put it behind me, and I've been talking about it a few times, and I've lost before. You know, I've lost a split decision fight, another really close fight as an amateur before, and I came back, avenged that loss, and won a unanimous decision in a title fight. And me and that kid ended up actually becoming teammates afterwards, so that was actually a pretty cool story. And I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. You take it for what it is. You put it in your back pocket, you write down the notes that you can take from it, and you move forward. You can't sit there and dwell on a loss. That's only going to be negative to your psyche towards the sport. I mean, look how many other champions there are out there who've had losses and things like that, and it doesn't matter. It's just another bump in the road. That's really all it is for me. I learned a lot of good lessons in that fight, and it's just another story in my book.
You want it back at some point, though?
I would like to definitely get it back. Definitely would love to get that one back. But I wasn't going to be like pulling like the Conor McGregor route after, you know, he didn't want the fight with Nate and then he chased him back down. I could have done that, but if we're going to go by round one, if I was able to do that for 3 rounds like I do in most fights, I think I think it kind of speaks for ourselves. But the better man won that night. That's ultimately what that was, and I just learned the better man doesn't always win every single time. Sometimes just the guy who shows up on fight night, and Bryan Caraway was that guy on that night.
A lot of respect there, man. All right, let's talk about the Assuncao fight. You were supposed to have it at the end of last year, fell apart. Now I got put back together. Did you kind of, you know, ask for this to be put back together? You know, sometimes when things happen, they just go with different opponents and change things up. Did you lobby to keep this one?
Yeah, definitely did. I just couldn't see who else they were going to match me up with, and I thought he was the perfect opponent to put me right back to where I want to be. I think I match up with him very, very well. I think my wrestling is going to be a very strong point to help me with this game, and even my stand-up. I think people are going to be very surprised when they see me step into that octagon. I got everything. I got what I wanted. You know, I asked for this fight, and I got it. And now it's my time once again to step up to the plate. And I've asked for fights before, and I normally rise to the occasion. So just another opponent, just another task, and I want to hopefully go out there and get the job done.
Does that kind of instill some confidence in you too, to know the promotion maybe believes in you? I mean, to give you this fight, a guy that was one fight away from a title fight, does it show maybe that they still have some faith in you despite the loss?
Yeah, definitely. When you kind of look at it, the trajectory of where my career went and where my last opponent's career went and the type of opponents that were offered to us, I think it kind of shows and speaks volume of I don't want to say who they think really won the fight, but at the same time, I think that it does show that they do believe in me. And I think had I won that fight, I'd still be in the same position right now, probably one fight away from challenging from the title.
I was going to ask you what you feel like your schedule is. I mean, I know you don't really want to talk about title right now. You got to get back in the win column, but man, there was so much hype around you, and I think still deserving. I mean, still a legitimate contender on the rise. What is the internal schedule that you see? I mean, is this a year that you can challenge for a title?
If the cards fall right, I think I could definitely sneak in there and challenge for the title. I think with a win or two. I know Cody Garbrandt is now fighting TJ Dillashaw, and who knows, man, sometimes people get hurt and things, you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. So who knows, I could just win this fight and maybe something just doesn't happen to go the right way, and who else is out there, you know? I beat Raphael Assuncao. He's this guy coming off a 7-fight win streak and lost to a former UFC champion in TJ Dillashaw at UFC 200. So I do my homework, man. I'm excited. I'm just ready to take whatever comes my way and just take it in stride. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just kind of one of those guys who just lets things play out. You know, I don't really like to think about too much of how things should go. I just like to capitalize on the opportunities if they do present themselves.
What nicknames are we rolling with for this fight? You got plenty of them.
We got the human Jansport, we got the human leech, we got the human backpack, we got the human anaconda. What else we got? What else we got, bro? And we got the foam master, of course.
Keeping it real. Well, what do you think? I mean, you talked about your wrestling, you talked about your striking. What about jiu-jitsu? I mean, do you think that this can turn into a jiu-jitsu match? And if so, does that favor him, or do you feel like you can match him there?
I think I match with anybody in the jiu-jitsu realm. There's BJJ, and then there's MMA jiu-jitsu, and that's a completely different thing. There's elbows, there's punches, there's ground and pound, there's passing guard, full mount, back takes. I just think I excel in all those positions where I'm actually going out there trying to take those risks in my fight where my opponent isn't. I think he likes to, if he gets on top, he kind of plays it safe. I mean, he'll strike and throw some ground and pound there, but nothing really looking like he's actually trying to finish the fight. I think that's the difference between us. I'm a risk taker. I think that's the major difference. I think I'm going to match up with him pretty well. If he tries to neutralize me, I think my wrestling is going to be enough to get me either back to my feet or to get him back to the ground, to control him, and to advance position to hopefully finish the fight.
Overall, I know that you're wanting to get back to the win column, finish fight. Are you trying to send a message to make sure people know that you are right there in that #1 contender spot? Maybe you can slide in, as you said, if something goes wrong?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what the fans want to see. The fans want to see you go out there going for a finish. That's what the UFC wants to see as well. They don't want to see guys going out there trying to point fight, you know? People have their skepticism about how I fight, my fight style sometimes, but you check my track record. I finish fights. That's what I do. Whether it not be the way they want me to go out there and brawl, I like to use my brain. I like to outsmart my opponents, use the tools that I was gifted with and the hard work I put in the gym, and go out there and get finishes. That's the way I like to fight. Make sure there's no doubt and show that I'm the clear-cut winner.